Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I had to remember to get something in particular done to really quick there. Anyhow, this is a Glitch Reaper, and I'm back for another Lycanites combos equipment video. So yeah, Lycanites equipment combos is still on, and this time I have another axe. Yeah, I do have a preference for the axes because just the fact that you can use a few extra parts in them also means that you can get so much more out of them in one item. So it really does help out. This one is a combat design, although the fact that it uses clink size means it gets a few extra uses. So yeah, this one's going to be a pretty cool battle axe, and it's going to have a really fun use. So as usual, I'll describe all the parts that goes into it, as well as how to hunt them down. And I'll have a little bit of a demonstration of this particular item. As you can see, different ways that it looks. And as usual, I kind of veer towards this being one of the best ways to show it off. Because it shows all nice and sideways and everything, and you can kind of see the whole thing. So, again, this really is the better way to display items so far. So, yeah, thanks Crozier for those item display stands. They work out very beautifully. But yeah, there's all sorts of ways you can model it off. This always has to deal with rendering distance. It's like, yeah, yep. It's not an unloading thing. It just always does that if you're more than a few blocks away. So, fair enough. Okay. Anyhow, this one will be Casey's Battleaxe. Its purpose is to fling your enemies away dramatically. it's like, so home run. Yeah. So it's gonna be pretty dramatic, and you're probably wondering, how do you stack the deck enough to do that? Well, and it's going to be even more dangerous to the enemy than even I described, because it's going to have this as your base, a Zaffin Spine, and it adds penetration directly. So it may last long enough for the enemy to hit the ground with extra force. So yeah, they're gonna be pummeled by this one, and the fact that it gives a pommel means they will be pummeled, especially because it all integrates in this design. Now, Zaffin spines are obtained from Zaffins, which happens when elements mix. So, again, whenever lava and water come together, you might be fighting Zaffins. Of course, they might show up in a few other areas here and there, but that's kind of your major source, is when elements mix together. Now, as a pommel, we'll be going with Gen Cloud. Again, they love the upper atmosphere, so whenever you're high up on a mountain, you might be seeing Gen. But the effects of the pommel is that it basically grants you the ability to summon Gen on occasion, and also grants levitation to the target, which is pretty much the big focus of this particular item, is it's going to be flinging things. So I had to have a good way to give them some extra launch power. And hence the Gen Cloud. So, yeah, those upper atmospheric fights, they're going to earn you one of these. And remember, I do these all at level 3, so as more of the system is put together to allow you to level up your items, that will come in very big, that you can start with one small level 1, or maybe a level 2 if you defeat a special version of the mob. So you might fight a particularly special Gen, get a level 2, and not have to go quite as far to get to level 3. So it can work out for you in your favor. Now, as for the headpiece, we got a Ventoraptor skull. Ventoraptors are found on the plains. So you'll be fighting a lot of things on the plains, but Ventoraptors are what you're looking for. And they give you this beautiful axe part. It has weakness to the target and a little bit extra sweep and a bit extra range, but the big deal is that it's an axe head, which is just the biggest part of this design. Is this is an axe head, because it's easy to find, it gives you a couple of axe head slots, so that's going to be kind of the thing binding this together. If you're not really as into the Ventoraptor skull, you could theoretically act with a crafted hilt, but it's not going to give you quite as much kick, especially when, again, anything that summons, like a Gen Cloud, is based on your sweep. So anything that adds sweep will give it that little extra bit to it. Of course, the fact that these clink size have humongous sweep means that's completely irrelevant, but just saying, there's more than one reason to go for this. And if the enemy manages to somehow get back to you after being hit with this thing, you might want them to be a little weakened just to have that little extra insult to them going, ha ha, I'm hitting you with a wacky weapon. So, yeah. Now, the Clinksites Clinks are found in deserts. So you'll be going to desert biomes for more than one reason, and one of those will be Clinks. And these things are very great X parts. For one thing, they have good damage whenever you add up the stats. They seem to be a little bit quicker than some, and they all have knockback 2, which is the thing that's really coming up on this design, because all sources of knockback add together. So this will have 2 clink size. Both parts will be clink size. So this will have knockback 4. That's something you can't even normally get on a weapon that's a vanilla weapon. Although you can't enchant any Lycanites equipment. But this is just showing how powerful this is going to be. It's going to fling the enemy away dramatically. Very dramatically. It also adds aphasia, so they're going to have a hard time using items for a while. Which will just really make it extra nasty, especially on players for this time being. But he is working on a way to make it compatible with witches and other enemies in general that are mobs that use items. So there's the thought. Now, the other thing is it has good harvest powers. It will harvest as a hoe, shears, and shovel. Although that's not as key to this design. It's just the fact that it does is just that extra bit of handiness. So if you really need to shovel a lot, this will really help. If you need to hoe your fields, this will help. And if you need to, well, shear things, like, well, it doesn't really harvest at this exact time that I'm sure of as shears in terms of giving you the item back. So it's not like you're going to be getting grass and stuff. And as for sheep, well, because it has a projectile that throws throwing size, you might want to be careful how you aim around sheep. Or, for that matter, other important shearable creatures. So be careful how you aim this thing. Again, it's not as meant for the utility as it is for combat, and this effect it has those projectiles really kind of illustrates that, so yeah, beware. Now, remember to be able to get your blocks that you're going to be needing to get all this. You're going to need a crafting table and a wooden axe to get your lesser equipment forge. The greater equipment forge is that plus an iron block. The master one, which is all you'll ever really need since it can do all the lesser levels of parts, is the one in the middle, which is the greater version, plus a diamond block, and you get your master forge. Now, to get the equipment infuser to level them up, make sure to have a lesser equipment forge and surround it in the crafting table with lapis lazuli. So, yeah, that's 8 lapis around one of those, and you get the picture. So, now it's time to assemble the new version of the item, as I usually do. So, the Zaffin Spine, which will probably be the hardest thing to get out of all this, actually. The Gin Cloud Pommel, the Ventoraptor Skull, and our 2 Clink Size. Yeah, this one is nicely symmetrical. And as usual, I'll be doing the ceremonial renaming of the item to show it is basically just what I made over here in advance. So this is Casey's Battleaxe. Now, one little annoying thing I've been experiencing off camera is, on occasion, I have to deal with a Roa that wants to rip apart every single item frame that I have. And so, just saying that I might be targeting Roas differentially just because I'm a little peeved. So, yeah, that's not what I'm gonna do for my primary target, but if one happens to show up, I mean, I don't care that the levitation effect won't take place in the water. I will pummel that Roa because I have a bit of a grudge in this particular world. So just noting that. Now, speaking of things that tend to break blocks, I do have something else that I'm going to be fighting. It's going to be rather dramatic and high. Crows or ravens? Ravens? Ravens, crows? Ravens, ravens. Okay. I will make that mistake nevermore. Okay. But yeah, I have an Etten that I would like to fight to demonstrate the power of Casey's Battleaxe. And they are currently typed as brutes in Lycanites mobs. There's been some interesting revisions as to how the whole creature system works. So, let's go and fight an Etten. And remember, this one is based very heavily on combat, so although I could use it as a tool, but that was some weird lag for around here. I usually don't have that problem in this world, so maybe it's because of all the... Might be because there's pretty much a party going down over there. Is that a special AGI? It's a special Aegis. As I said, special mobs will have additional level to their parts. At least that's as planned. I think it is true now, but I'm not entirely sure. And just making sure also that this doesn't do the thing. Yeah, I was right. It's not harvesting as if it were shears in terms of giving it back to you. It just harvests in terms of speed. Anything you normally harvest with shears very quickly, it will harvest very quickly, as long as you can actually get it back. Otherwise, it'll just break it very quickly. But, potato, potato on that one. Now, Ettins, they break blocks. Oh, I missed you. I think it has pretty good attack speed. There you go. See, I just home run that guy. He's just flying up there, and a will of penetration proc. Oh, I think he got out of it. What? Come on, let me hit him. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter now. He's going to die of fall damage unless he floats right up there. Did I... Aha! Ha 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 ha. See, that's the fun of this design. Now, I could have also shot some of these at him. Because remember, I have this function here. And it will plow through... This also helps you harvest plants in a very massive fashion. Especially grass. Oh, wait. Do I dare? Do I dare? And does this have mod... You know, there are certain things I have not actually tested. Does this have mod compatibility? Or is it only grass? It might be literally only grass, but I'd be fine with that. If it's trimming grass only. Okay. Okay, guys. Yeah, I know you might be really angry at me in a moment if I do this. Because I know you specifically get mad whenever I break blocks in a village. And I want to test if I can break blocks in this village. So, I'm doing something that is probably absurdly stupid. Oh, it's a nitwit. Okay, I was wondering. Nope, does not break crops. It's very selectively good at getting rid of glass. I'm good at getting rid of glass. Well, you could, but that's not what I meant to say. Darn lips. Getting rid of grass. So, yeah, that's something I've just been wanting to test for a while, and finally did. So, yeah, I'm glad I finally got to test out that part, but you could see an Etten fly. If you ever want to see an Etten fly, well, one has. So, now, this thing has pretty good attack power and attack speed. So, I know these guys normally friendly, but I'm just going to demonstrate on whacking them as a small army eliminator. Let me see if I can air combo him. Yeah, I air comboed him. Yeah, this thing is good at just pummeling in general, and the fact that they're helpless in midair just seals it. So, I could have just obliterated that Etten out of midair, or a lot of things for that matter, because there's very few mobs that are specifically immune to levitation. Although, the one that grants levitation in vanilla, in fact, is. So if you ever wanted to levitate a shulker with this, not gonna happen. They are automatically immune, so just know that it's just not gonna work. Okay. But for everything else, for a lot of other mobs, I'm not going to say everything else, but most of it will go just flying with this thing, and way away from you. So if you want to play the ultimate game of keep away, make one of these. So yeah, this has been Casey's Battleaxe. So, I'll be logging off. Hope to hear from y'all later, and bye for now, everybody.